A new Snapdragon chipset is here. Is this the best phone that you can buy today? This is my Mi 11 in-depth review. Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again, and I'm here to share my full review of the Xiaomi Mi 11. Now, I've spent about 5 days with this phone now, and I have a lot of thoughts on it. The retail price for this phone is 3,999 RMB, so just over $600 US. You are getting what I consider the best phone of 2021 so far. But what more do you need to know about this Xiaomi Mi 11? Let's go down the list: design, display, performance, sharing my quick audio test and camera samples, and then let's see, is this Mi 11 worth your money? Let's have a look. Starting with design, at 8.1 millimeters, 196 grams, this Mi 11's design has been terrific. I've loved the industrial feel of this phone, from the strict tolerances to this nice glossy metallic edge. But the best part of this phone is definitely this gorgeous blue matte glass back, Gorilla Glass Victus here. And this back not only reduces fingerprints, but it also just looks amazing in good lighting. And the camera module has also grown on me on this device. Yes, it is inspired by iPhone, but it is one of those designs that looks a lot better in person than in the renders. And on the front, you have tiny bezels, both top and bottom. Now, the one nitpick I will give is to the corners. The edges of the curves don't really align with the edges of the device, but it's my only nitpick to what is otherwise a terrific device with really clicky volume rocker and power buttons. Here you see the USB-C SIM tray and speakers, and yes, you also have top firing speakers. There may be other things about this phone that you can argue against, but design is not one of them. Xiaomi knocked it out of the park with the design of this Mi 11. But the star of the show of this device has got to be the display. A 6.81-inch WQHD Plus OLED display at 120 Hz. I have loved using this display, guys, for watching content, for browsing the web. It is just a sleek, buttery smooth experience using this display, with terrific viewing angles and a solid white point with HDR10 Plus on board and an A+ rating from DisplayMate. It is easily one of the best displays I've ever tested here on the channel. But what is use like outdoors? And does this phone stand up to sunlight legibility? Well, here's Frankie Tech to share the experience of outdoor use of this Mi 11. Guys, 120 Hz WQHD Plus. I think this is the new gold standard for display tech, and this display gets plenty bright as well, 1500 nits. I have no problem, as you see out here, using it outdoors in kind of good daylight. No problems whatsoever. Thanks, Frankie Tech. In the end, guys, another 10 out of 10 here for Xiaomi with this display. And for you guys waiting for the Mi 11 Pro, just know that that display is probably going to be the same exact one that this phone has, and you're going to get it here with the Mi 11 at a lower price. And in DRM Info, more good news with this China variant of the Mi 11. L1 security level for wideband CDM on board, full HD Netflix capability. It's an L1 party here on Frankie Tech. Performance, and welcoming to the channel for the first time, the Snapdragon 888, which has been a terrific performer in my experience. Now, in terms of the Antutu benchmarks, I haven't been able to hit those super high 700 plus 1000 scores that we've seen Xiaomi report. And yet I've been told by a source that with the 12.5 update that I will eventually get these very high scores. And overall in Geekbench and in AndroBench, this phone is getting some terrific results. And that has made navigating and using this device on a daily basis just ultra fast and ultra smooth. I see zero hiccups, zero stutters. You're going to have a rock solid flagship level experience. But is this really a big jump over the Snapdragon 865? Here's Frankie Tech to tell us more. The Snapdragon 888 is a beast. Now, it isn't a big jump over the 865, I would say, but you're going to appreciate the extra power in this Xiaomi Mi 11, and I have loved gaming on this thing. Just using it for daily use has been tremendous. This is a beast of a chipset. And so once again, I think this is something we're going to see just happen in the phone tech industry. Flagship CPUs are getting so good, but there's so much overhead in terms of power you really don't need. And I think the 700 series for a lot of you is probably going to be more than enough phone that you will need for your daily use. And once it gets 12.5, I will report back my experiences, and it's supposed to be a big jump in terms of stability, performance, and just overall fluidity on this Xiaomi Mi 11. And talking about battery life, we have a 4,600 milliampere capacity with 55 watt fast charging, which, if you've seen my charging test, brings this from 0 to 100% in under 50 minutes. And they are in line with what Xiaomi has said as the charging speeds for this device. We also have fast wireless charging of 50 watts and reverse wireless charging of 10 watts as well. And this phone is using PD 3.0 and Quick Charge 4 Plus technology, which means you'll be able to use your PD chargers with this Mi 11, which, let's face it, is a concern for a lot of you because the GAN charger that comes now separate out of the box with this Mi 11 is really hard to get. And my screen on times for the last few days using WQHD Plus and 120 Hz have hovered in the 6 to 7 hour range. I think that's plenty considering the resolution and refresh rate of this phone. Battery life has been terrific on this Xiaomi Mi 11. Charging has been as well, and I think you will not be disappointed. And talking about the fingerprint scanner, we have an optical in-display fingerprint, and it seems like a while that I haven't used this type of fingerprint scanner on a Xiaomi device. But it just reminds me how much I like these optical in-display fingerprint scanners. They work whether you're both left or right-handed, and I think they put a terrific optical in-display fingerprint scanner in this Mi 11. But in terms of vibration motor, mamma mia, guys, the vibration motor on this phone is standout. Terrific. Now, I didn't think there would be a phone that would come along so quickly after the Mi 10T Pro that would just wow me in terms of its haptic feedback, but this Mi 11 takes the cake, offering just such a natural and incredible feel when you're typing on this display or when you're pressing or navigating around the system. And I think we possibly now have the first flagship phone of the year that reaches to the level of the iPhone 12 Pro Max and maybe even surpasses it in terms of the precision of its haptic motor in this Xiaomi Mi 11. And in terms of comms, you have the latest Wi-Fi 6 dual band, you have NFC on board, you have Bluetooth 5.2, which I will say has been a better connection with this phone than a number of other Xiaomi phones that I've tested in the past, with haptics, HD and haptics adaptive available, and all of the TWS earbuds I've used on this phone have worked without a single drop in connection. And now the audio speaker test, testing out these Harman Kardon dual speakers on the Xiaomi Mi 11. But how good are these dual speakers tuned by Harman Kardon? And will they reach the heights of what I considered the audio champ of last year, the Mi 10 Pro, which in many ways is still unsurpassed in terms of the dual speaker experience of this phone? Well, let's listen to the results and talk about them when we get back. What can I say? We have a new champion. But I really do think that because of the work that Xiaomi has done from their previous Mi 10 Pro, they have now delivered an even better audio experience on this Xiaomi Mi 11. You have right here the two best dual speakers that you can buy on phones, but the Mi 11 has an even more rich sound than even the Mi 10 Pro, and it's just as booming with great stereo separation. You're going to be able to enjoy music of any genre. Along with the display, it is easily the other standout feature of this phone. And last but not least, talking about the cameras, we have a 108 megapixel main camera here on the Xiaomi Mi 11 with a 13 megapixel f2.4 ultra wide and a 5 megapixel f2.4 macro camera. Now, what's omitted here from this phone obviously is the telephoto, and that is one thing that I think I wish Xiaomi would change in terms of their strategy. They are now, along with the Mi 10T Pro and now this phone, not including great periscope or telephoto cameras on their kind of regular versions of phones anymore. Those are now left to the Mi 11 Pro or the Mi 10 Ultra, which continue to get these great telephoto cameras. I really do wish they would backtrack on this, but it looks like they're clearly making a distinction between these two different tiers of phones, and the telephoto, unfortunately, is one of them. And on the front, we have a 20 megapixel selfie camera right here in this really tiny punch hole, and it's off to the left, which I don't mind, with rear-facing video of up to 8K 30 FPS, 4K 60 FPS, but on the front, we're still stuck at Full HD 30 FPS. And I just gotta say, Xiaomi, come on. What is up with that? If you're gonna compete with companies like Samsung or Apple, which have now brought 4K video shooting to their front cameras, you need to get on this, but let's just hope that for this upcoming Mi 11 Pro that we will finally see 4K video recording on the front camera of a Xiaomi device. And so I've spent a number of days taking shots with this Xiaomi Mi 11, and now let me share with you some daytime, some evening shots, and a little bit of video as well, and we'll talk about them when we get back. And here's a little rear-facing video on the Xiaomi Mi 11 walking down the trail. It's a pretty beautiful day. A little bit hazy here, but still you can appreciate the views. Shooting in 4K 60 FPS. And I'll leave you here with this pretty beautiful view there of the city. Hope you guys are doing well. And this is front-facing video on the Mi 11. Shooting in Full HD 60, I think that's right. And it is a bit of a pity that they didn't include 4K on the front camera. I would have loved to see it this year from Xiaomi, but hey, maybe we'll see it on the Pro version of this phone. Just beautiful sights here though. And hope you guys are doing well. And hit me up in the comments, what do you think? So all in all, guys, the Xiaomi Mi 11 is delivering some terrific results out of its main camera. The ultra-wide is so-so. I don't think it's a bad camera, but it still doesn't really kind of cut it. And the macro camera, whether this macro camera was there or not, I really don't care. I wish we had seen a good telephoto in the place of this macro camera. But when you think about the quality of these shots, and even on Twitter with some of the polls I mentioned, many of you felt that it wasn't really that big of a jump from, let's say, the Mi 10T Pro, which I've tested in a few initial shots. So if you're happy with your Mi 10 Pro, Mi 10, or even Mi 10T Pros, there's no reason to upgrade. But for all of you who want to be on the cutting edge and to be able to take advantage of the new image signal processor that you get in the Snapdragon 888, this camera takes slightly better shots, and the OIS capabilities of this phone have been terrific. And all the video samples I've taken so far, I've seen some major stability, some great colors, and great vibrancy that maybe not to the level of the 12 Pro Max, but it is getting very close. course. Overall, the camera is a slam dunk here on this Xiaomi Mi 11, and I think you will appreciate the upgrade. Just know it's not as big of an upgrade as I initially thought it would be. So that's it for this video and my final verdict on the Xiaomi Mi 11. There's always going to be a first phone to come out of the gate with a new Snapdragon chipset every year, and this year Xiaomi was the one to do it with this Mi 11. And they have delivered a solid device in both design, display, performance, the audio experience, and the cameras. And let's face it, if you never even knew that there was a Mi 11 Pro coming up, you would be very happy, I think, with the overall well-rounded and just incredible features that this phone offers. And they're not offering it at $1,000. They're offering it at $611 US. But now let's face it, you probably will pay a little bit more, but even at $700 or $800 US, I think this phone is still worth it. Now there will be other releases this year that will probably surpass this Mi 11, but I can tell you without a doubt, this is the best phone of 2021 so far, and it's Xiaomi to do it here in the Mi 11, a terrific device and definitely one to consider in the early part of this year. But hit me up in the comments. What are your thoughts on this Xiaomi Mi 11, and do you think that it is worth the money? Or are you waiting for another Snapdragon 888 phone to come out to purchase instead? Hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon for future updates. Busy week here on Frankie Tech. Stay tuned for the Redmi Note 9T event coming tomorrow evening and my full coverage of those devices as well. But I will not be stopping here with a Mi 11 coverage as well. Stay tuned for my full comparisons now coming in the next week of this Mi 11 with the Mi 10 Pro, the Mi 10T Pro, and we'll be doing this epic triple camera comparison of those phones very soon as well. Stay tuned. And appreciate once again to all my OG fans for your support. This week has been challenging, but we, the Frankie Tech Army, have stood up. We have just kept swimming and we have stayed strong. And it's because of that that I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm going to continue creating great content for all my OG fans. You know who you are. Thank you so much for your support. So that's it. And this is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Have a good one. Dropped in water twice, and it's still working like new. You gotta love this phone.